villages were a part of nature, not separate from nature, and so they continued to grow and adapt in relationship with the land. Hutash showed the people how to live well on the island, and for many, many seasons they did. But their villages kept growing, and Limu soon became too crowded. Kakanapmawa, the mystery behind the sun, saw this was not healthy for the island, nor for the people. Hutash agreed. They needed to find a bigger place where the people could spread out and be happy. So they gathered the people up high to a mountain, and there, spanning across the sky and over the ocean, was a beautiful rainbow. This rainbow bridge, the people were told, would take them to a much bigger land. Most of them promptly crossed over, but some couldn't help but look down. A few became so dizzy that they lost their footing and fell. Hutash cried out to Kakanapmawa to save them. And so, as the falling people splashed into the deep ocean, they were transformed into dolphins and joined the harmonies of the sea. Chumash people have long spoken of Wishtoyo, this rainbow bridge, as a reminder of their familial connection to dolphins. In more recent years, some think this age-old story might also be an oral account of sea level rise. For Alicia Cordero, a biologist and member of the coastal band of the Chumash Nation, Wishtoyo is not just a story that has captivated her since childhood. It is knowledge that matches the geologic record. Toward the end of the last ice age, when sea level was about 400 feet lower, Santa Cruz and 3 smaller islands in the archipelago were joined together as a single giant island. Formed millions of years ago by tectonic plates and ancient volcanoes, this giant island, which the Chumash knew as Limu, changed in size and elevation with each fluctuation of the sea. Only in the last 11,000 or so years, as the great ice sheet started to melt and the ocean began to expand, did most of the island go underwater, with just its 4 highest peaks still visible today as 4 of the Channel Islands. Limu, indeed, had become too crowded. You can't accommodate the same number of people on 4 small islands as you can on this one giant island, said Cordero, who has worked for years with her community, as both a scientist and a cultural educator, to uphold the many ways of honoring knowledge. It made sense for people on the island to move to the mainland, she said, and to move with the changes of the ocean. Once the people of Limu crossed onto the mainland, they lived on and became part of the coast that stretches from present-day Malibu up through Santa Barbara and toward the southern edges of Big Sur. They understand that the line between the aquatic and the terrestrial was ever-changing. 2 systems intertwined. They stayed in rhythm with the sea until Spain, then Mexico, then America forced a more brutal relationship with the shore. Within just 1 century, coastal meadows gave way to pavement. Rivers turned into concrete. Beach resorts rose atop wetlands, and oil wells pocked the shore. This environmental devastation played out across the state, destroying the ancestral homes of more than 180 tribes, nations, bands, and clans. The legacy of colonization in California often gets glossed over. But to truly understand the coast, we must first understand this. The shoreline, like the rest of the great American West, was largely built on violence. Violence to not just the land, but also the native people of this land. The state's most iconic beach cities, California's historic piers and boardwalks and picture-perfect marinas, all these beloved seascapes were built on a foundation that sought to conquer nature and erase the people who first listened to the water. So much of the California coast has been conformed to the populated shoreline we know today, and now the rising sea is once again demanding change. But the systems guiding us toward this change still tend to reinforce the notion that once we lay claim to a place, it becomes permanently ours to settle. It is